Hello, welcome to Chocolate Gamers Match Preview. Ham Utd against Bournemouth. Gonzo, would you kind of kick us off with your thoughts on the Cherries, please?
Yeah, more good stuff from them, really, and another really solid season from them. Started well, had a dip, now they're back in form again, constantly pillaged for their players, and always ready for it, always prepared, always seem to know their next signing is going to be, and it's actually remarkable what they do, really, and not just them. To be fair, there's a number of really well organised clubs which they won. You've got to be as well. If you and at the moment they've got plans in, and they are planning to. I think the plans have been accepted for their new stadium, but you're sort of relying on that trading if you've got a small attendance, which they do, and they just do it so well. Got the new training complex as well, which by all accounts is superb. Got a manager whose contract's running out at the end of the season, but certainly would there's more confidence from Bournemouth fans than I thought there was going to be that he's going to sign a new one. So yeah, I mean, there's not got a bad word to say about Bournemouth. Very well run, good team, good manager, good infrastructure, everything. In many respects, a lot of what you'd want West Ham to be.
Yeah, I think they're just going to redevelop their current ground. There is an option to build a whole new stadium, but they're just going to redevelop what they've got because they feel we don't need a 40,000 seater. We won't fill it. So
it's in a lovely place as well.
25,000 are sweet spots, so everyone will be able to come watch Bournemouth. I want to come watch Bournemouth, but we won't risk having loads of empty seats or anything like that. I've only got good things to say about them as well. I think they're the most underrated club in the Premier League. When you take everything into consideration, I'm not saying they're the best club in the Premier League. I'm not saying that, Brighton's recruitment's had loads of credit over the years, and I don't think Bournemouth have been given that. I don't know why. I don't know why it is. I just don't feel like they are getting the credit they deserve. At the end of the day, a few years ago, they've signed players. One of them went to Liverpool, one of them went to Real Madrid, one of them went to PSG. Kepa returned to his club, of course, but they lost 3 of the backcourt and their goalkeeper. And some of them they've replaced from within the club, and some of them they've had to bring in. And they've actually arguably improved since last season as well. Semenyo's gone. They've gone and got, oh, it's all right, we'll go get a teenager from Brazil to replace him for half the price. Sorted. Next. Now, Krupe Jr. will leave at some point. But I'm pretty certain they'll have the next one lined up. And they are a very impressive football club. They play really good football. They're really relaxed around the contract situation of their head coach, which shows how confident they are as a football club. Because they felt like they were heavily relying on the head coach. And maybe Aston Villa might be with Emery. They might be worried if Emery goes one day, what we're going to do. We're so fixated on Emery. We're building our club around Emery. So if he goes, we're in trouble. But Bournemouth are just sitting back thinking, well, if he stays, brilliant, and we hope he does. But if he goes, we'll just replace him with someone else, and he'll carry on the good work that's already been put in place. Do you think they'll keep him?
Well, I thought no until last night, I've got to say. And I spoke to Craig, the Bournemouth fan, who's obviously going to know far more about Bournemouth than I do, and he's going to have his finger on the pulse. I asked him, are you worried about it? And he was worried. But then by the time he'd finished talking about it, it was quite clear. I think he thinks that he's going to sign a short-term deal. So I think they can. I think there's a lot of good managers available as well. I think that's the other thing. I think for me, that he's a standout one. I think Glasner is, and I think Marco Silva is as well. They're all available. So I think they might keep him. I think the trouble is there's a difference between ambition and just because you sell your players doesn't mean you're not ambitious. If that's a contradictory statement, I understand. But I think they were asking to lose Semenyo. I think they would have happily kept Howson. They would have happily kept Kirkes, but there's nothing they could do. They were powerless. But I don't feel just because they sold those players, the club have lost their ambition because they just replaced them really, really well. So I'm not sure he would leave because of a lack of ambition. It depends who comes in. And it was quite interesting, actually. He said to me that he wouldn't go to a club like Tottenham. And It wasn't because he wanted to insult Tottenham. He's got no axe to grind. But they're not a project club. And I think that was what he made clear about Iraola. He wants a project club. He wants to improve players, which he obviously does. Having spoken to him, I've had my mind change. I think he's 60-40, but I think he could stay.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I can see the reasons for him remaining there. I can also see the reasons for him going because his stock is high. There's a lot of potentially big jobs available in the summer. At the minute, the Spurs one and the Man United one will be available. That might change. The Manchester City one could become available in the summer as well, with some uncertainties regarding Pep Guardiola. There's some uncertainties regarding Arne Slot at Liverpool as well. So you don't know what other big jobs may come up. And I think that might sway him. I'll be surprised if he decides before the end of the season one way or another. And if Bournemouth get European football, then perhaps that'll persuade him. I think when you said there about it doesn't show lack of ambition if you sell your players, I agree. I think some of those players, Semenyo, Howson, left because they had release clauses in their contract. So there's nothing they can do with that. But also, I've never understood why it's deemed an insult for a club like Bournemouth to say to players, look, come here, you'll develop, you'll improve, you'll play in the Premier League. And if a club that you want to go to in Champions League football comes here, we're going to let you go. They will pay for you and we will try and get as much money as we can for you, but we're not going to stand in your way. Because I think that's got to be an incredibly attractive thing for a young player. If you're 18, 19, 20 years old and there's a lot of big clubs after you and you think, well, maybe I've got one move in me before I get to one of those big clubs. I've got to get my next move right. I'll go to Bournemouth. I'll earn more money. I'll get Premier League wages within reason. And then if one of those clubs do come for me, they're going to allow me to go. They're going to negotiate a fair deal and I will go on and it'll go to achieve what you want to achieve elsewhere. And it becomes very attractive. If Bournemouth now go around France or Belgium or Brazil and go to get these 18, 19, 20-year-olds, they are one of the clubs you want to go to right now because you're going to get played, you're going to develop. And then I feel quite confident that clubs like Real Madrid and PSG are watching Bournemouth thinking, well, they've had one really good player come through that we've signed. Why would they not have another one? Of course they will. So we're going to keep an eye on Bournemouth. We're going to look at Krupi Jr. We're going to look at Alex Scott. Why would they not be scouting Bournemouth week in, week out? So as a young upcoming footballer, Bournemouth is actually one of the best football clubs you can join, in my opinion. You play good football, good manager, no barriers in your way. Semenyo, I think, was a win-win situation. I think he was expected to leave in the summer. I think a lot of attacking midfielders / wingers did leave. Cunha, Kudus, and Bomo all left. I think Semenyo was one of those, and he signed a new deal. And the compromise was he gets a £65 million release clause. So, and in the 6 months between the window closing or the 4 months window closing and January opening, he scored a load of important goals. Bournemouth yielded a lot of points. So when January transfer window comes around, they're not in a relegation battle. They're well away from it. He gets his move to Man City. Bournemouth gets 65 million. And in the meantime, they've secured another season in the Premier League. Win-win. I think just a really well-run club. Big question, though. Will they get European football? But let's rephrase it because we don't know what equates to European football at this point. Will they get top 8?
Where are they now? I didn't.
9th.
Well, it's a big win, wasn't it, against Everton then? Yeah, I think they can get top 8. I do, and I think they will. Yeah,
I think so as well. It's 7th or 8th, but I think they can do as well, and I kind of hope they do too.
There's nothing to dislike. There's a lot of clubs to dislike at the moment, and Bournemouth certainly aren't one of them.
Players, Mayo?
Yeah, it was interesting to see them highlight. I say them. I can't remember who was highlighting them, but I definitely watched something on telly a few days ago about Adley, who does look really good, and I think he took a dip and he's sort of come back again. I do like Alex Scott. It's funny that you mentioned him. I think he's a really good player. I thought he was so important to England that when he got injured in the under-21s, he got battered in that game, and I thought that might be the end of it. But actually, it was I think Tyler Morton came on for him and played really, really well and did a good job. But I thought he was excellent for England. I thought at the start of this season, particularly, I thought he'd really stepped up. Thought he'd improved sort of very much. I felt he was a squad player before for Bournemouth, and I really felt like he stepped up at the start of the season and became a first-team player. I do like Ivan Nilsson. I think he's a good player as well. And I have been told, I don't know this, but I've been told, and now I'm going to look out for their right back, Jimenez. Is that his name? Quite possibly.
Yeah, Alex Jimenez.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about him, but I have been told he's one to watch out for. And I do hear the young Brazilians very, very good. He scored some ridiculous goal for Vasco da Gama, apparently. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you anything about him myself. But they got lots of good players. And of course, Eli Junior Krupi. We know all about him because, well, I like to say we nearly signed him. We didn't nearly sign him, but we were led to believe that we nearly signed him. So we didn't. He was always going to go to Bournemouth because Lorient are obviously a feeder club. But yeah, lots of good players, mate.
Yeah, I think Scott's been brilliant. Redeveloped as well. At Bristol City, he was more of a number 10. He's gone to Bournemouth, become a deeper midfielder, and got a little bit lucky maybe with the injuries at some point to Lewis Cook, Ryan Christie, Tyler Adams. It was difficult for him to get in the middle of the park last season. But with the injuries that they've had, it's given Scott that opportunity. But he's really developed into the first name in the team sheet in that position as well. And he's ahead of the others in the pecking order now too. Senesi, I absolutely love. And if they can keep a hold of him, that would be good. But contract's running out in the summer. I think he's got one eye elsewhere, maybe a big payday or something for him. And there's a lot of clubs supposedly looking at him, likes of Aston Villa and stuff too, but I really like him on the ball. He's a wonderful footballer. And Alex Jimenez is, well, been playing right wing quite often because of the injuries to the forward players. And then he is naturally a right back, but strong, quick, gets forward really well. Quite an aggressive right back going forwards and backwards. I think he's a top player. I absolutely love him to bits as a footballer. Really, really impressed by him. But enough about Bournemouth. Shall we talk about West Ham?
Yes, mate.
Before we do that, we've got an important question for you. Are you sick and tired of the emails? Are you sick and tired of your phone going, it's a number you don't recognize, or it's whip out, you pick it up, and they'll even know your name. They'll say, hello, is that Gonzo? And Gonzo will say, he's not.
Well, I'll say I had one earlier, suspected spam caller.
Yeah, you go.
I got blocked. Honestly, that was half an hour before doing this video.
Anyway, what would you normally?
What would I normally say?
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello,
ring.
Gonzo's Pizza Delivery Service.
Hi, is that Gonzo?
I can't hear you. I've got headphones on. It's a big block between here. Yes, it's Gonzo. What do you want?
My name is Ali McDonald, and I'm ringing from your gas supplier.
Yeah.
Can I have your bank details?
You certainly can. My PIN number 6969. Thank you, Ali. Goodbye.
That's brilliant. There you go. Are you sick of those phone calls? Well, we've got a way to help you get rid of them, to stop them, to reduce the number of them, to prevent you becoming a victim of a scam or identity theft. Because people online, they've got your details. Websites have got your details. If you don't believe us, Google it. Don't Google, do people? Google your name. Just Google your name, your phone number. Google your name, your street you live on. Just Google your name with something that only you should know. But something that me and Gonzo don't know about. You put that on in Google, and you might be a little bit surprised and concerned at just exactly what pops up, what websites do contain your information and have your data. It is dangerous. That's why we're working with Incogni to bring you an offer, which is incogni.com/Hammers Chat to save up to 60% on your annual plan. Who are Incogni? Incogni are a company that's working with people that sign up to take their data back off these websites. So if you go on, you sign up using the link in the description below, or type that into URL bar of your internet, sign up, sit back, relax. They'll go do the hard work. They'll contact these websites and they'll demand that they remove your data. And if you think there's a website that has your data, just copy and paste the URL and put it into the dashboard in Incogni, and they will go and do the rest for you. It couldn't be easier for people to get your information these days. That's a bad thing. But because of Incogni, it couldn't be easier to get your information out of the hands of these people that have got your information already. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, Gonzo, shall we do some team news?
Let's do it.
It's very, very, very short. Very short. Not many team news today. Ferry Potts begins his suspension, 3-game suspension. I was wrong on Sunday. I thought it was only 1 because it's 3 for violent conduct. But he actually got sent off for violent conduct. So it's half right, half wrong. I read an article on Saturday night that said 1-match suspension. Fool me, believed it.
We've all done it.
That's what I get for believing it. And anyway, Freddie Potts 3-match ban. This is game 1. Pablo is injured. Nuno, in his press conference, said that they're assessing him day by day and he hopes to have him back soon, but not this game. But the good news is Jean-Claire Todibo has returned from his 3-match suspension and he's available for selection. So with everything in mind, Gonzo, I'm going to load up tactics board. I'm intrigued as to what you're going to do today. I think you've got 2 options, really. I think I know what one you're going to go for. But would you like to talk me through your goalkeeper?
I heard you sitting by the lake telling everybody you think you know what I was going to do.
It's called. I think you're going to go with a back 3. But anyway, it's called a lock, not a lake.
A lock.
A lock.
A lock.
People down here too often call it a lock.
A lock. A pardon?
As in padlock.
Same thing. Lock.
No.
Is it a? Is it lock?
Okay.
Lock. Right,
anyway, lock tactics board. What you got? What you want in and goal?
Mads Hermansen for me, please.
There you are. Hermansen's in goal.
Keep things locked at the back.
And your defence?
I will definitely have a defence. I will have Aaron Wan-Bissaka, please, at right back.
Oh,
there we go.
So left back, you're going to go Juve.
Left back, I'm going to go Juve.
Yeah. Right, here we go. This is where it gets interesting. So you've got your 3 into 2.
That's what I got. Konstantinos Mavropanos, please. This. I hope you haven't been doing it all this time. Your hands will be aching. You are right to float your hand over the top of Axel Disasi, actually. Yes, I see no reason to change that. And I'm sorry to Debo. I am, because all you were doing was, let's be fair, everybody wanted to steam into the corner and start grabbing Pedro by the throat. And as I'm sorry for that, I totally understand you might have, but I can't put you in a team.
Yeah, I mean, a month ago, who would have thought we'd be sat here saying, Todibo don't start? Because he was one of our better players, one of our more informed players, certainly the best centre-back that we had. But since then, Mavropanos had some good performances and Disasi's come in and has been brilliant. So I'm in complete agreement with you. I think Disasi remains, and I think they've actually had a good partnership, them two as well. It's not just that they've been playing well individually. They've been playing well as a pairing. Wan-Bissaka's been in good form, and Jiv's been decent, but Scars I thought was against Burton. And I do think he was a victim of the system and a victim of the changes. I think there was one or two players I look at thinking that they were just let down by having players not as good around them. And I think he was one of them. But I'm not sure Jeff's shirt was up for grabs. But if it was, Scars certainly didn't do anything to nick it, unfortunately. So I think that's why I would go with that back 4. Any temptation to change the goalkeeper? I think there'd be a lot of subscribers preferring Iraola over Hermansen.
Why?
Well, they think he's a better goalkeeper, obviously.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a really good reason. That's a very, very good reason, by the way. I couldn't argue with that. If you think he's a better goalkeeper, then definitely that should be a really good...
I don't think there's anything sneaky or snide about it. I just think they think Iraola's a better goalkeeper.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay. I mean, I've got him in there because I like the distribution, and I just sort of liked what I've seen, really. But it's a hard gig being a West Ham goalkeeper. I say that, but every time, not every time, but a lot of times we've done our player ratings over on Patreon, I do seem to say a lot recently the goalkeeper hasn't had a lot to do. So we must be improving a little bit. So I'm allowed to be indulgent now, and I just think that he helps us attack quicker, better, better of a range of passing. I think he probably, in terms of when we're keeping possession, makes the defenders a little bit more confident. So yeah,
I do have one fear. Bournemouth, I feel, are the second best team at long distance shots in the league. I don't know if that's the thing statistically. I don't know.
The first best team?
Villa,
right?
And they do as part of the game plan. Villa shoot from distance, and they score quite a lot from distance as well. And Emery's pro on it, and they do a lot of real research into basically everything at Aston Villa gets recorded. Even their training gets recorded as well. So the analysts at Villa don't just watch the game footage; they have to watch the training footage.
That's why they got 29 of them.
That's why they've got plenty of them, because they're trying to squeeze everything out of every single player, and they look at the techniques and the distances they shoot from. And obviously in training, they'll hit it from 25 yards, won't you? Rifles into the top corner, and I think it's a case of, well, let's do that in the game.
I bet they haven't got a turfed hill though, which
probably not. No,
can stand on top of.
Probably not. But no. I think a large part of the reason, if we were to take the white counters as the team facing Aston Villa, let's call it West Ham, and let's just say Traore was going to hit one from distance, and he had a reputation for being good.
Right.
It forces a defence to come out, and then all of a sudden you've disrupted especially when you're someone like Villa and you're coming up against a low block, you want to pull that centre backs out as much as you can. And I think if they keep hitting from distance, the centre backs think, well, we're going to have to step out because they will shoot. And I think Bournemouth are a little bit like that. I think Bournemouth are happy to pull the trigger from distance, and they've got players capable of scoring as well. And that worries me with Hermansen, because he can get beaten by a screamer now and again. So
I can't believe you're starting Traore.
Well, we'll get on to that in a second. But before we do, can I have your midfield, please?
You can. I'm going to do, as you predicted, I am going to have... Oh, can you select all three?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Let's see you do it.
No, it's
it's
my ones as well as your ones.
See, I'm hoping that is what Bournemouth can't do. I'm hoping they can't pick up Magassa.
Right, okay.
If you know what I mean, he's gonna drift and do whatever he's got to do. Yeah, they're a really fast team, all over. I do think I've got a bit of a confirmation bias with Magassa, but you know what? I'm fine with that. Yeah. What football fan doesn't have favourite players, right? And he's one of them. I like him. I like what I've seen. I want to see more. I think he's got a little bit of everything to his game. I think he's a relatively rounded player. I think Fernandes is a very rounded player, in fact. And I think us having Magassa in there will probably allow Souček.
I was going to ask, do you have a way that you want these three to line up on paper?
At a triple hinge, as they say, as the top coaches say. If you've done your UEFA A+ badge, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, the triple hinge for this one. So it's like a triple pivot, but then it hinges. I've said hinge far too much. Don't want to make a mistake on that. It hinges, and then it allows Souček to spring forward and gate crash the box.
Okay, right. We'll just do something like this for the viewers at home, right?
Yeah.
So Souček's not a number 10.
No,
he's a reserve number 10.
Yeah. He's somewhere between a number 10 and number 8, but he's not a number 9.
Brilliant. Well, we'll leave Souček there. I'm going to do something similar, but with Magassa. Fernandes has to stay in this position for me. Yeah. I will not, who out of the players available, who's the most number 10 player we've got? Possibly Iraola, but I don't want to call him up just yet. But Fernandes, but I don't want him further up the pitch. The thing I'm enjoying the most about West Ham at the minute, in terms of what we're offering in possession, is Fernandes picking the ball up from deep and finding Somerville and Bowen out on the touchline. You move him, you kill what is, I think, one of our biggest threats. The biggest, we've seen so many goals where it comes from him from deep, even if it's on the floor or out wide. Fernandes must stay in this sort of quarterback role, picking the ball up from deep and playing it. So weirdly, I'd actually try Magassa further forward. Do I think he's a number 10? No. Do I want to see him as a number 10? Not really. But I remember under David Moyes, we used James Ward-Prowse in this role, and his job was to basically defend from the front. He wasn't there to start playing through balls or score a load of goals. He wasn't there for his creative side of it, the attack side of it. Ward-Prowse was there because of what he could do defensively, and it was a case of, could you get upside Antonio, help press the defence? And the answer was actually yes, you could do that. Yeah. And I'd almost have a little bit of Magassa doing that at times as well, just trying to help Tati out so he's not isolated, and also get away from the midfield. And I've seen enough of him getting on the ball that he can eat up the ground as well when he gets going, Magassa. So I want to see a bit of it. So I guess on paper, he'd almost be a reserve number 10 for me as well. I'd imagine our remaining 3 are going to match. So would you like to talk us through it, Gonzo?
Yeah, I could. Bowen, as you've got there, Somerville over on the left, and Tati Castellanos up front. I really liked the way that Somerville and Castellanos linked against Burton. I thought it was such a big difference when they were brought on. They seem to have an understanding. I like it. I think he has been a crucial player for us, Tati. I really do. I think he's immediately become so important to the point where I have no interest in us playing without him. That's how important I think he is. So, he is. I feel like he's become the glue to the team, and almost as important. Will his output? I still believe what I said before. I think he's a 1 in 4 striker, something like that. But I think he's as important as anybody else. I think you'd have a similar impact taking him out as you might have taken Fernandez out or taken Somerville out. Or he's
irreplaceable. We've got no one to replace him with.
No, we don't. We don't indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go then. We've got a matching starting 11, actually, despite it. There's not that many big calls for him to make this weekend for Nuno. He's got a call at the centre-back. And if he decides to go with a back 4... then he's got a call in midfield and up front to go. Where do you put your extra player? Who's Potts' replacement? But if he goes with a back 3 of Disasi, Todibo, Mavpanos, he's not really got any calls to make further up the pitch. The rest of them pick themselves. But he's just got slim pickings. He doesn't really have much to choose from in terms of his squad. There's very few players that are actual candidates for starting this weekend for West Ham. Do you think, is this a must-win game for you?
No, it's not a must-win game, and I feel there are a set of circumstances where we could draw this game, and the weekend could still look okay. So no, I don't think it is, but we would have I do feel if everything went exactly to plan, we won, and the clubs who want to lose lost. I do feel it would be transformative. But yeah, I don't think it's be all and end all. I mean, it would be amazing because I don't speak to many opposition fans, and there was part of me that thought, I wish I did this more because I'm just really genuinely interested, and you learn a lot. But I definitely felt worse having done it, which is no reflection on Craig. He was a lovely guy, but I thought, no, I'm scared. I'm scared. Which is my fault. All I asked him about was his team, and I said, "Who's your danger men and who's this?" Who's but crikey, by the end of it, it made me more worried about Bournemouth. And I do think they're just a really, really handy team. If we can beat them, would be magnificent, and I mean magnificent. I also don't have a massive amount of faith in Liverpool, and you can't. I don't just mean Liverpool. Look at Chelsea and Leeds. It's not that Chelsea have got to do us a favour or anything like it. Who did Brentford play?
Brentford are playing Brighton.
No. They did play before, and I think Forest beat Brentford, maybe.
Yes, that's correct.
And they were so limp, Brentford. And you thought, come on, and then you see them play against Arsenal. You think, where was that? But listen, they could do what they want. It's their team, isn't it? And we can't really rely on favour. So there's nothing to say everything else is going to go our way. But if it does, it could be a monumental weekend. There's no doubt about it. And the confidence I feel the club would get from this would be huge. But no, it's not must win, but it would be very, very good too.
I think it's bordering on it for me. We're going to have to win somewhere. We're going to have to. We can't just pick out Wolves and Palace and Leeds and say, we'll win those 3. It's not enough. So where else? Where else are the wins coming from? maybe Everton, maybe Brentford. Okay, well, they're maybes. Oh, maybe Newcastle, maybe Bournemouth. We're going to have to win a couple of these maybes. And this is one of them. After this, we've got Villa, Man City. We've got tough games after this. I like Graham, one of our subscribers, what he said about the Man U game. Said it's not a must win, but it's a must try to win. I quite like that, actually. But this one feels a bit more. It's a good point. In isolation, it is, but given the context of where we are, it's possibly not. It's possibly not enough. 1 defeat in 7, West Ham coming into this one. Bournemouth, no defeats in 6. So both teams are in good form. It's a difficult fixture. There's no doubt about it. But if we write off all the difficult fixtures, there's not enough left to stay up.
Great.
We're going to the Championship. We've got to get a win from somewhere. And this is one of the games that I would say, well, we're maybe going to have to win this one. And we got the slight advantage that we played before Nottingham Forest. So we put on them and say, go on then, win your game. We're equal points with you. Go on then. What are you going to do? I agree with you. I'm still waiting on the game. That makes me think we can do this. I'm not had it yet. I've had some performances which says we're doing all right here. And I've been enjoying it since we beat Spurs. I've been enjoying West Ham. But I'm still waiting on that match. This could be one of them. Are you feeling optimistic?
No, but I'm not feeling downbeat. I am quite fearful of them. But, listen, we've got players ourselves. Let's get that absolutely right. You would not want to be coming up against Somerville at the moment. And I think if you were anyone else, you might possibly think now's not a great time to play West Ham. So it's so easy, and I'm sure all fans do this, not just West Ham, but it's so easy to be pessimistic, in that sense, and maybe just look at what everyone else has got. Fernandes is in tremendous form. Souček can score at any time. Bowen is likely to score at some point very soon. Somerville's in the form of his life, and I do think the defence is improving. I also think something very important is happening, and that is that Wan-Bissaka's coming back into form. That we don't have the start of the season Wan-Bissaka, who wasn't particularly good at the moment. Wan-Bissaka is coming back into form, and he's a really, really good footballer. He was our player of the year last year, as everybody knows. We just got to get this right. It shouldn't be that hard to get right because Pablo had become an important part of the team for a very short period of time. So he should not be that vital. That's the thing. He should not be. We shouldn't have got ourselves in a situation where a player who's started 3 games or whatever it was has now instantly become irreplaceable, whatever. We have to be able to find a way without him. And I think there's enough talent in the team, in the team. I don't mean necessarily squad, but in the team to do that. So we're going to have to find a way. We have to find a way of getting players close to Tati, probably Bowen and Somerville. If we could do that, then it's, I'm not devoid of all fruitiness for this. But I'm cautious, but I'm looking forward to it. And it's different. It's different from the start of the season. I do think this will be a game. There's been times this season where honestly I would have just said they're going to walk all over us. And I wouldn't have had any belief that we could do anything. But I think we had almost no result. There would be a scoreline that surprised me. Any team winning 3-0 would surprise me. But no result would surprise me here.
Yeah, I can only really echo your thoughts. I'm looking forward to the game. Bring it on. I'm happy with our starting 11. I have a fear that he might go to a back 3. And it's the mentality thing of it. On paper, it doesn't sound too bad. The back 3, the wing backs, and Tati with Bourne and Somerville closer because they're not hugging the touchline. Although I do think we would miss that Fernandes pass to those, but we've seen against Bournemouth, Fernandes played that, Burnley, that Fernandes played that pass to Somerville, who was 10, 15 yards inside, and he knocked out to Juve and it led to Tati's goal. So we have seen them come inside a little bit and Fernandes be able to find them, but I do think they're better when they're on that touchline and Fernandes has got that ball over the top, the fullback. The problem with that is I just think we play so deep when we're playing a back 3. And I know it's hard because the game against Burton was not our first team players, but it's a mentality thing in the sense that we just weren't very good at it. We've not really just little evidence to suggest we'd be good with a back three. I do think that's maybe what he's going to go for. But even if he did what we did, I'd look forward to that starting 11. I would just worry when it's time to make subs because Tati's tired. All right, it's time for Callum Wilson. You know, he was dreadful against Burton, absolutely dreadful. Somerville's tired. Okay, it's time for Adama. Right, okay.
Yeah.
One of your midfielders are tired. Okay, it's time for Kante. You know, there's not really. We're lacking in squad depth. We're really lacking. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm confident we'll score. I'm confident we'll concede. I'm confident it'll be a good game. I think if you were a neutral and you're tuning into this one, I think you might find it quite an entertaining match to watch, actually. Two teams. And the way that Bournemouth play might suit us. The way Bournemouth will, when we've been forced to go toe-to-toe with teams, I've actually quite enjoyed us and thought we've more than held our own. And I think the way that Bournemouth play might actually suit us a little bit. It's teams that sit back that I think we're really going to struggle because we want to be able to counter-attack. Bournemouth, I think, will allow us to counter-attack. So it should be an interesting one. Can I get any final words, Gonzo? Plus your all-important score prediction, which I might have here, actually. I feel optimistic I've got your prediction right.
I bet you probably have. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about how regularly you get it right. So I must be very transparent. Yeah, look, massive game for us. Really is. We got to show that we won it. I was encouraged by what I heard from the crowd against Man U. That sounded juicy. I know it's not a night game, but yeah, you know the clocks haven't gone back yet. So I think by the time it kicks off, it'll be getting 90 time. I'm not wearing a 90, by the way.
No, it is. The sun's gone down
at 5:30.
Yeah, because it's Ramadan, and about 5-6 minutes into the game, there's going to be a break for those.
Yeah, of course.
Food.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The sun will go down after the sun will go down very, very quickly. So sunset is about 5 minutes into the match.
Okay, right. Okay. I don't know if there's anything we can do about tilt the planet a little bit or do something about it to make it even more nightly. But I'm hopeful of an atmosphere, actually. I am hopeful of an atmosphere. And I think that might help as well. Looking forward to it. I am very much looking forward to it. We're going to need a big game from Bowen in this one. I want to see more of Mavropanos doing. I'm really enjoying those long balls over the top. Actually, I think that's become a little bit of a feature of it. You get a couple of attempts at them every game, and I quite like them. Want to get Souček into that box as well. Somerville back on form. We got half a chance here, mate. We do have half a chance. I'm going to go for a Desmond, but of course he does. But don't rule out a West Ham win or a Bournemouth win. Covered myself.
We certainly can't lose. 1 loss in 7. We're in good form. 2 of those games against lower league oppositions, QPR, Burton, don't care. We've seen Premier League teams get beat by lower league opponents last weekend. I don't care. 1 loss in 7 is good form. That defeat was away to Chelsea where we were 2-0 up at halftime as well. The draw to Man U was very unlucky. We're in good nick at the minute. We're in good form. But we can't afford much defeats. There's not a lot. We're out of wiggle room. We've used wiggle room. It's done. We're 3 points behind Nottingham Forest. But also, I'm talking about the mentality. I think you can pick yourself up from that Man U game and go again. You can say we were unlucky. We played well. We were unlucky there. But we're running out of time now. And if you play well and get beat by Bournemouth, that belief that they've clearly got belief. This group of players, Nuno, they've clearly got it. They believe they can get out of this. They're saying the right things, but they're doing the right things as well. It's all very well giving it a little bit of this, but you also need to do a little bit of that. And I think they've been doing it. But it does feel fragile. A couple of bad defeats and suddenly the belief will disappear. We could be 5-6 points behind with 10 games to go. And okay, the stats will be everywhere about how many teams don't get out of this situation and stuff like that.
Course,
the world we live in, the players will know every single statistic, probability. We are all aware that I think there's a 25% chance we'll stay up. The players will know stuff like that as well. If Opta starts saying there's a 5% chance we're staying up, the players will know about it. So it's important that we don't lose this weekend. A draw, isolation is good, but circumstances is not. I feel quite optimistic, actually. I'm really looking forward to the game. Like you said about the players in form, Tati's in form, Somerville, Bowen's not playing great, but he doesn't need to play great to score. Some players have to have a good game to get a goal or an assist. Bowen does not. Bowen can play poor for 85 minutes, but that 5 minutes is worth a goal or an assist. That can be a match-winning thing. Souček, bar one game, he's been playing quite well. Fernandez has been tremendous. The back four is playing well. The goalkeeper, iffy. It's hard to tell. The fact that we don't have what I would call an outstanding number one is a worry, but can't do anything about it now. Just got to hope that one of them's good enough between now and the end of the season. Bring it on. I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1. But I'm a bit like you. No outcome would surprise me here. Bournemouth are a bloody good team. And I almost wish someone like Forrest were playing Bournemouth because I'd be all up for Bournemouth winning. We've got a difficult fixture in comparison to some of the teams around us this weekend.
That's true.
But the idea of winning, go level on points for Nottingham Forest when just 6 weeks ago we were 7 points behind them, that would be tremendous. And it just means that Liverpool score, that crowd has started to get a little bit arsey. I don't care if it's Pereira's first game in charge at the City ground. They will start to get grumpy if they go goal behind, because I think they're already having the conversation. What's clearly not the manager, it must be the players. So if they change manager and they start losing again, they're not playing well. It'll be the players. It won't be at Pereira. It'll be the players that they'll be booing at and pointing fingers at. This is what we've been needing all season. Bring someone into it, put the pressure on them. And we've done that, and Dyche got sacked.
Yeah. But not just, I mean, it's easy to look at Forest. If we can win this, someone, it might be Palace, it might be Brighton, it might be Tottenham. Somebody might go, if we win and they lose, hold on, what's going on down there? We're in a relegation fight. Or we're just it puts enough pressure to think, okay, we're probably all right, but we need to. There's then a need to win their next game, and it's that scoreboard pressure that we can hopefully put on other teams above as well. So it's fascinating. The other fixtures, I've got to say, are fascinating this weekend. I'm more fascinated with them than I think at any point during the season. I'm watching all of them, and I did a video the other day, and I was scrolling through, and I thinking, that's interesting. That's interesting. So I'm going to be. I was going to say I'll have my ear pressed to the radio. I won't, but metaphorically speaking, I will.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Let us know in the comments below what you would do, what 11 you would pick. If you've enjoyed the preview, please do drop a like on. Subscribe if you're new to Hammer Chat. Myself and Gonzo did a cup of tea at 8 p.m. on Thursday. So you're watching this later on Thursday, Friday. We've already recorded it. It'll be on your screen in just a few minutes. Do go check it out. And until then, myself and Gonzo, catch you in a bit.